In its most simple and basic form, MATLAB can be used as an advanced scientific calculator. MATLAB is equipped with all the standard arithmetic operations, for instance addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We can also use powers, so exponentiation. For instance, if we want to calculate the second power of 3 squared, we can use this hat operator that indicates that we want to raise 3 to the power 2, and the outcome will obviously be 9. MATLAB follows the basic rules of the order of operations, and we can also use brackets. So for instance, if we want to calculate 4 plus 10 divided by 2, this will yield 14 divided by 2 is 7. So all this is pretty basic and straightforward. Now, in addition to these simple arithmetic operations, MATLAB is also equipped with a rich library of intrinsic functions that are readily available for you to use. For instance, if we want to calculate the square root of a number, for instance the square root of 9, we can use the sqrt function and call it with an argument 9. The outcome, if we press enter, will obviously be 3. Other examples of such functions are, for instance, the absolute value function, the absolute value of minus 10, which would obviously be 10, or a lot of trigonometric functions, for instance, the sine of 10, where the argument should be in radians, will give us this numerical answer. In addition to these kinds of functions, MATLAB also has some intrinsic variables that are pre-assigned a numerical value, and one of the most important ones or one of the most famous ones is the number pi, which can simply be found by which is assigned to the variable pi. So if we push enter, this gives us the numerical value rounded to 4 significant digits here of pi. So for instance, if we want to calculate the sine of 2 pi, this is close to 0. And we will come back to why this is close to 0 and not equally 0 in the contents of the course itself. Now, if you want to use a certain function but are not completely sure how, you can use the MATLAB help or the MATLAB documentation. And this can be invoked by typing help and then the name of your function. So let's say we want more information on the sine function. We press help sin. So the sine function, the description is that this is the sine of the argument in radians, and this is how you should use it. We also see some related functions, and we get a link to the reference page. So if this information is not enough, we can further click here in order to open the documentation, which gives us a more elaborate description, but also gives us some examples on how to use this function in practice.